Good morning and welcome to day 2 of the AFFLINK Summit. At this time, it is my pleasure to introduce Senior Vice President, Business Development, Michael Wilson.
Morning, everyone. Good morning. Howdy toddy. With all the conversations now, you're welcome. I got one chance, guys, in 160 years, right? With all the conversations today around millennials versus boomers and the onslaught of the Gen Z, you know, there's a group of us, myself included, that are part of that lost generation, Generation X. Well, that's right. There's a few of us. There aren't many of us, relatively speaking. We don't make the headlines. And we often, wear our hearts where they belong, inside our chests. And quite honestly, we don't really care or not if birds are real. You see, that's the perfect Gen X joke because it went over the boomers' heads. The millennials sat there, they didn't hear it because they were on their phone, and the Gen Zers just rolled their eyes, see? Growing up, us latchkey kids, we didn't have TikTok or YouTube to find content that inspired us. Nope, we had a VHS and a worn-out, VCR and a worn-out VHS. Tapes of movies like the 1993 classic you're about to see clips from now. It's the same one my old friend Andrew Zapotosky made us watch before every home basketball game in high school for 2 years to get us pumped up. And it worked. And I'm excited to hear that message again today, 30 years later. It's personal for me. And this time, live and in person, we get to hear it straight from the horse's mouth. So with that, I will exit.
I always thought I was too stupid or I was too short, I'm not quick enough. You don't listen to the goofy thoughts. Believe in everything you do, everything. And you know, something great might happen.
That guy's a real inspiration.
You know that's not the real Rudy, right?
I'm sort of the Rudy.
There was a guy played with us, his name was Pat Sarb. And kind of an interesting story because Pat did go in to see Coach Devine. Could you have Rudy dress in my spot? And of course, he agreed to do it. 20-some years later, his young son walked on and wore Rudy's number 45.
You know, it starts with a dream, and it's always too soon to quit. You know, thank you, Peggy. Give Peggy a hand for putting this on and bringing me in. She got awesome Thank you for coming. For the rest of you that didn't come, thank them too. They probably had a long night. We had a long day getting here, by the way. I'm from Las Vegas, and we sat 4.5 hours in the airport waiting for the plane. And then it gets there, and what's it doing? Thunder and lightning. I'm sitting next to a lady with a dog. Thank God for that dog. Little baby Chihuahua. So it really created a nice little moment. And the lightning came. She said, that's another half hour. 2 hours on the tarmac. We finally get here, meet Peggy. We have our dinner, go upstairs. There's 100 books you got to sign. And DVDs. Challenge after challenge after challenge. And you go to bed, and we're here so quick, isn't it? Bam, I'm here. You look good. I hope I look good. I wear my Yankee shirt because I'm a Yankee fan all my life. I'm not afraid to admit it because Mickey Mantle was my hero. Is that cool? Yeah, so anyhow, that's why you have the Yankees. And the reason tradition was big for me, and by the way, I'm the real Rudy. You did recognize that. You have Sean Astin, and you have kind of like, you know, he played Mikey in Goonies, right? Chasing One-Eyed Willie, the dream, and that was cool. And so Sean, years later, when we got the movie put together, we're looking for the guy to play the part. In World War II, I'm a veteran, Navy veterans. Any veterans in here, by the way? Thank you. Army, Marines, Air Force. My dad was Air Force, B-17, 22 missions. That's how we found Sean in a movie called Memphis Belle. So God has a purpose of you going through these tough moments to find the right guy in the right moment for the movie. Is that cool? Because if the movie would have happened, we never found Sean. If it would have happened right away, took 10 years of getting the movie made, 10 years of getting Notre Dame on board. Was it worth it? Yes. Patience was a big deal, and that was part of the thing that I had to learn was patience. And also rejection. And the rejection was the toughest part because in school, I got rejected a lot. I'm dyslexic. I'm not a good student. I'm the worst student you could have in a classroom. I'm ADH. Whatever they said you were, you had, because I didn't like school, but I loved fourth grade. Wasn't that awesome? Fourth grade, you all agree? Fourth grade, you played, you had fun, you got the dream, you can be whatever you want. Fifth grade, homework. Hated homework. I didn't understand why I had to do homework when I had to go play baseball, and because by the time you finished playing outside, it was too dark, and you had to go eat, then you had to do homework, do your chores, and you were too tired, and I didn't like homework. That's kind of like, I loved playing with my heroes, and you know, we had home run derby in our backyard every Thursday, and we played against the kids, and one, I don't know if I should tell you this, but I never did my homework, and you should do your homework, by the way, young man. So, but do your homework because it's good for you. But I didn't like homework because I'm a Yankee guy, and it was championship Thursday. You ever have championship Thursday with the neighborhood, and if you become Mickey Mantle, you're the guy in the neighborhood. You're the guy. I wanted to be the guy because I wanted to be somebody. In school, I was nobody. But on the playground, I was the guy. So the teacher in 5th grade was hooked on homework. And she says, okay, guys, it's Thursday night, championship Thursday. And she gave us a homework assignment, study the presidents of the United States. I don't care about those presidents. Mickey Mantle, man. You know, Yogi Berra, Roger Maris, right? So if she would have understood my dream, she would have associated the presidents with the lineup. But she didn't do that. It's just, you better study and you better know those presidents. You don't know the 5th president, I could see, and you don't know the 1st president, I could tell. So I could tell by your look, because you're saying, don't ask me. You know, because you got that look. That's the look I had because I didn't care like you don't care. No, you Whitey Ford. Yeah, I knew it. You're the guy, right? So I had that same look when I became Mickey Mantle that night and come to school the next day. That's the look I had. Because, man, I'm Mickey Mantle. And who's she going to pick on? Because she knows the kids who didn't do their homework and the kids who did their homework. Kids who did their homework, hey, little Tommy, I know the first president. I know him. Who does she pick on? Little Tommy, right? You know the first president. You think so? Should I test you or not embarrass you, or should I give you the Tommy answer? Good, see? I'll give you the Tommy way. I know, George Washington. See, now you know. So I didn't embarrass you. And that's what I said to myself. God, I know the first president. I didn't have to go study. Right? My buddy taught me because he did his homework. So way to go. And little Margie, she raises her hand for the second one. Who do you think the second one is? Margie knows. Any Margies in here? Well, they sit up front, No Margies? Oh boy, this is a good crowd. Okay, so you're right where I was. You didn't care, you didn't know. But John Adams, is that cool? Is that cool? You know two. Think about it. You didn't know him when you walked in here. Now you know two, right? Now the third one's really cool. You got to know the third one. Yes. Where's that? Is that little? Are you little Tommy? Tommy, he had to say it because he knew. He's Googling. He's Googling now. All right, I got you. All right. Well, the teacher's getting close to me like I'm getting close to this young man and his wife. And, hey, I'm looking at you. You know the fourth president? Oh, you're awesome. Anybody? I know you, Coach. Don't worry about it. I'm never going to ask you. You're the man. The fourth president, I'm never going to embarrass you. But, all you have to do is count on your peers to have the answer, right? Because you're cheering for them because you didn't do your homework. Because, come on, raise your hand. And, little Sally, she knows James Madison. I'm done. And the teacher looks at me, and she knows I don't know the fifth, like you don't know him either. I know you don't. If you don't know the fifth president, you can sit in back of the room like the rest of them, right? And that's what she did to me. She embarrassed me in front of all my friends. But I was Mickey Mantle. I'm Mickey Mantle, man. She didn't care. And I'll never forget walking back, and some of your friends, oh, Rudy's stupid. I didn't know I had dyslexia at the time. Because you don't know that. You're just excited going to school, and all of a sudden, when you got to learn, you learn differently. You listen differently. And they call you ADH type of guy. No, you're dreaming. You're a dreamer. And I'm dreaming Yankee Stadium, Green Bay Packers, and Notre Dame, because it's the only teams my dad watched. Isn't that crazy? And we're from Chicago. Jim Taylor, Vince Lombardi, right? Notre Dame, every Saturday and every Sunday. You go to Mass on Sunday, and what score is given by the priest? Notre Dame. So all your Catholic kids are going to Notre Dame, if you go to Notre Dame. And that's where I wanted to go, and I saw my dad, his eyes lit up, because I'm one of 14. And when you're one of 14 kids, things are different in the house. Mom's the disciplined inspiration, where dad's, he comes home mad all the time and angry and, stressed because he's working 3 jobs. And they talk politics, religion, and friends, at lunch. And that's why they come home mad. Until The Price is Right is on, or The Wheel of Fortune, things change, until my mom sings Danny Boy every time he gets really angry. And every time she sang that song, a miracle happened. A Rudy came. Because they go upstairs, he's happy. You know what happens after that, right? And a Rudy comes, and another Rudy comes, and another Rudy comes, and another Rudy comes. Hey, we got enough Danny boys, right? So anyhow, that's how the Ruettiger family was. Very structured. My dad gave us a lot of goofy thoughts going to church. When you're a Catholic, you will get goofy thoughts. As you go to church, your mother reminds you not to turn around in church. You turn to stone. Would you like that? Turn to stone? Not me. I'm not going to turn around and turn this. I believe that. And if you talk in church, your ears will fall off. I believe that. And if you looked at a guy that doesn't go to church, you're going to go to hell. Man, some real fair, goofy thoughts are given to you, right? You don't do that, do you, to your guys? You're an empowerment. You don't give goofy thoughts. Goofy thoughts is what stops us from dreaming, right or wrong. That's why I don't watch TV. I don't even know what's going on. I just know the good Lord can't stop me from doing what I can do and who I am, what I can do every day, be the best I could be. If I listen to the TV, I get distracted. We have a wonderful country. You know, when everything changes. When the Vietnam War was happening, I graduated from high school. I went on to work, and I decided to join the Navy. When I joined the Navy, my life changed. And here's how it changed. It was called gratitude. It's called little things that you never had that you're now getting. What are the little things you never had now you're not getting that are big things? Excuse me. You're going to like that. My military man, you know when I'm talking. You get a haircut and you get new underwear. You never had them before. When I got my new underwear, you know how excited I was? And they stamp your name on the back, which means the guy next to you can't steal your underwear like your brother would. So you didn't have to beat him up to get your underwear back. It's awesome, guys. I was so excited when I got my new underwear, new shoes, new socks, all new stuff. I have so much gratitude. I was excited. I folded my underwear just like my mother taught me. And I had a perfect foot locker. And because of that, my drill instructor gave me the leadership. Is that cool? Because I knew how to fold underwear. How many people will give you a leadership role because you can do the little things? I got confidence. And when the confidence, I start dreaming again. Does that make sense? Get rid of your goofy thoughts, get confident, you start dreaming again. So I start dreaming again, and guess what came back? Notre Dame. But reality was high school, because I graduated third in my class from the bottom. Was I a candidate for that university? No. So you don't go ask your high school counselor, can I go to Notre Dame? He's going to say, you can't because you're not smart enough. Look where your class rank is. Excuse me. So you go to someone that doesn't know you. I'm going to Notre Dame. Yes, you can. That was my, it's funny, that was my officer of the deck on the Navy ship. I had a Notre Dame ring, and so I want to go there. He says, you can, son, if you work hard. Bingo. The key word, work hard. And it just stuck to me. I never really worked hard at academics. So it just came to me. That's what I must do. Get out of the Navy, but reality is you just can't go back to Notre Dame. Something else happens. You got to deal with life. You go back to work, and what happens? Your friend dies. He dies on the job, and now you give yourself up to the Lord, and what happens? Your life changes again because now the door's open because now you got rid of your goofy thoughts, and you get rid of your past, and you live in your present. Does that make sense? Here's the key. There was a gentleman I want you to meet. He came to me at a speech in Pittsburgh, him and his mother. I want you to meet Justin. And here's why, because he had a dream. But his dream was just to go to the 50-yard line on Notre Dame's football field. And his mother was going to take him there, but he's in a wheelchair. Let him meet Justin, and you'll see what I'm talking about. This is
Can you do it? You okay?
So, that's me. Just jump into it. Didn't worry about who was going to stop me. You just go for it. So did Justin. So he got to that 50-yard line his own way, like I got to Notre Dame my own way. So I had to find another way of getting there. Does that make sense? You can't let the naysayers stop you, because they're there. They come in all different disguises. And some of them are at high levels, some are at different levels, but you have to ignore the negative and focus on and always believe the positive, because it all works out. And do what you need to do in order to get to your goal. The challenges are tough and hard, but hard work pays off, and always believing pays off. Does that make sense? But he did it. He's the only kid that ever crawled to the 50-yard line at Notre Dame on his knees. And what's interesting, someone was given power that day, say no wheelchairs. Well, they just had the Garth Brooks concert on that same field. Really? Really? Where's the compassion? Where's the common sense? That's what we need, guys, more of that. And things happen differently. We have to be able and willing to change. And that's what I did. So I had to find the people who are willing to do that, but it's not easy. It's not easy to find the right team, but if you believe you will, you attract them, just like the movie. When I went out to Hollywood for 10 years, they kept saying no, 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 but there was a good reason why I went out there, because I met people that helped me, that I know was helping me, that I know was going to help me. Does that make sense? So you always build relationships. And when I went to Notre Dame, and they didn't really see the picture at the time, which is good, because the tougher they were, the better the challenge got, and the better the challenge, the better the movie got. Does that make sense? Because you just can't walk in and say, make my movie. Come on, what's it gonna do? I made a tackle, man. They don't care. You're not an All-American, but I made the movie because they understood the message. They didn't understand the play, but they understood to get to the play what you had to go through to make the play happen. Does that make sense? And sometimes I had to do things differently. I had to go to the military, had to go to work, back to work, watch my friend die, cleanse my head with goofy thoughts, moved towards Notre Dame, got around people who believed in me, stuck with those people, and they gave me the path, and the path was hard work, and the path was do the work, the path was you can do it. It's that simple. Don't complicate it. And I didn't complicate it, and even though the naysayers were there, they become your friends if they watch you do the work. And that's what happened, and that's why I got to play. Excuse me. I want to share with you, because I want to share with you my teammates. I want you to hear from them. So let's play the teammates, then we'll go to the next level.
Notre Dame is number one.
Notre Dame with a miracle win as
He's going in. Notre Dame has scored.
Rudy was one of about 20 walk-ons on that team, and you know, I really have good experience with him because he was a defensive end on the scout team, and I was a fullback, and fullbacks have to block defensive ends, and he would just jump up after we would knock him down and say, "Come on, play hard." He really did that, and many others did too, but he really was a perfect example of the Notre Dame spirit.
One of our defensive ends, I think it was like the second to last player, or ran off the field, and his name was Tony Zappola. And I go, where's he going? I was playing defensive tackle on the left side. Well, anyway, next thing I know, this guy comes running out. You know, Rudy, and he's jumping up and down, acting like a wild man, going, where should I go? Where should I go? I said, well, here, Rudy, play defensive end in the end, and what I'll do, I'll grab the guard and tackle, and I'll push him this way, and I'll spin, and if the quarterback comes our way, hit him. Well, it just so happened the ball gets hiked. I come across, I grab the guard and the tackle and push them together and spin on the other side. And I kind of falling down, and the quarterback, here comes the quarterback. I grab his leg. And of course, Rudy hits him, and they make a movie about it.
Things worked out real well for me as a freshman, and when I still think about that Georgia Tech game, had 2 touchdowns. I happened to get a call on an option pitch. Rick Slager optioned it off to me. I broke one off for about 15, 20 yards. Another play happened where I broke another touchdown off. But at the end of the game, I think I had close to 152 yards. And I think about Rudy getting his one opportunity. He made his one play, and I'm so happy for him. But, man, I think about it. I was the star of the game, and this guy makes one play, and the rest is history. But I'm happy for you, Rudy.
A couple of the boys picked him up and walked him off the field. Did we think it was a big deal at the time? Not really.
He did sack the quarterback. We did carry him off the field because we were just happy for a teammate. Then to actually see it on a film, a full feature film, and you know, most of it's true. I always like to tease. The one thing that's not true is I worked so hard to get my jersey. That scene where all the players were giving their jerseys back to Coach Devine and say, "Here, let Rudy wear my jersey." That wasn't going to happen. I worked too hard to get that varsity jersey and trot out in that field.
Part of the movie shows the guys giving the jerseys down and walking in there. There was a guy played with us. His name was Pat Sarb, and kind of an interesting story because Pat did go in to see Coach Devine, but this was senior day and it was a great day for everybody. And so what Pat went in and saw Coach Devine and said, "Hey, I'm not going to play. I know I'm going to be, you know, on the sidelines. Could you have Rudy dress in my spot?" And of course, he agreed to do it. And actually, a nice little story about that. I think 20-some years later, his young son walked on and wore Rudy's number 45, and he played on the special teams for 4 years here at Notre Dame. So it was a really unique story that carried on forward off of that.
Okay, now I have evidence here. I have an actual true referee, Chip. Where you at, Chip? We showed the play twice, and people would wear a shirt when they played Notre Dame. Rudy was offsides. Was I offsides, Chip? No, I was not. There you go. Isn't that cool? I love it. Chip, you heard it from the man's mouth. I was not offsides. And that's what I fight every day with guys. Rudy was offsides. No, I wasn't. Listen, what's cool about that whole message? You know, the players, you didn't know what the players thought. You didn't know a guy was going to walk in and give his uniform up for you. You didn't know all that. You just go to practice every day and do your job. Do your work. Do what you're supposed to do. You don't know who you're going to influence. You don't know who. But what was the key? Get rid of your goofy thoughts. Once you got rid of that, it became real cleansing of what you had to do because no one's going to stop you but you. So all I had to do was learn how to collaborate. Remember the words: collaboration, common sense, character, courage, and commitment. Those are huge. And when you contribute to something big, this is what happens. You don't have to be the star to be somebody. You don't have to be the guy to be somebody, even though we all want to be that guy. We all want to meet the star, but no one wants to meet you because you're the grunt. You're the guy. You're not the star. And that's how they looked at players. When the players come out of the locker room, they wanted their autograph. No one wanted mine when I walked out of that locker room because they didn't know who I was. But they knew the name Rudy, but they didn't know what Rudy looked like. Is that cool? But after that football game, guess what I had to do? I had to go clean the stadium stairs. That was my job. Sweeping down all the garbage from the game. And as I'm sweeping it down, I'm going, wow, I was just on that field. They carried me off, now I'm cleaning. That's life, right? It's like the movie. The movie, you go out, you pitch the movie, and they don't want to hear you anymore, so they kind of, Notre Dame, they kind of bar you from the university. They don't want to hear the story because it's not what we're about. They didn't understand the message yet. So you had to do a little more work, which is fine. You had to have a little more character, but this is where boldness pays off and your belief pays off. If you believe what you're doing, you don't need to have people say, way to go. You already got the way to go. You already have permission to do it. Just have to do it. And the way you do it is through your character and your commitment, through what you believe in. See, I believed in that so much. When I saw the movie Rocky, I got inspired. When I saw Rocky walk into that final stage of his boxing moment, he saw Apollo Creed have his uniform on. He says, "Oh, he's got my uni on." And he almost gave up until he walked in the ring. But all that preparation he did paid off when he got hit. Did he or did he not? What happened when he got hit? He went into action. Until you get hit, and that preparation to pay off. And preparation is so important. So important. You practice like you're going to play. You practice like you're the guy. And all of a sudden, when that moment comes, it just kicks in automatically. Sometimes you won't get that hit, but you still need to prepare. Just like I thought I would never play or never suit up. Even though I prepared every day, I almost gave up. But you need mentors around you, coaches around you, people who cared, like a janitor who cared. You want to know why I was quitting? It's not worth it. You're going to have those moments. All this hard work isn't worth it. No. It's not about that. It's about if you quit, you'll live in regret. You can't live in regret. And that's the thing that's stuck in my brain. I can't live in regret. Went back out there. I had no idea that that guy gave up his uniform for me. And what I never known if I didn't go back out there, if I would have quit and had my pity party, it would have been all gone. I would have never met you. There's a reason why I'm meeting you today. What do you think that reason is? You know the first 4 presidents. Right? You're good now. You're going to walk around with, but you don't know the 5th yet. And here's how you get to know the 5th. Sometimes you got to wait a little longer. 45 years. I learned the president when I was 45 years old. Here's how it happened. Just to give you a little backstory, I finally get a break in the movie. Talk to the writer of Hoosiers. Anybody see Hoosiers? Good movie, right? Field of Dreams? Build it, they will come. Just those little lines, I believed in. It was, I don't know, you call it whatever you want, but they stuck with me. And I had my final meeting at Notre Dame. I said, I'm going to give it one more shot. Frank Capra Jr., his dad did It's a Wonderful Life. I met him out in my journey out in California. He said, I will help you pitch the story, Rudy, because I know how to pitch movies. All right, so we sit in this big meeting. You know how long that meeting took? I think I played longer. The big guy from Notre Dame comes walking, and the guy had been barking at all these years, comes in and says, we love Rudy. We respect Rudy, but no movie here at the university. We're doing no movies. Frank Capra Jr. said, now wait a minute. I've had a run. I had to come out here just to, can you let us pitch it? He says, no. That's our decision. Thank you very much for coming. He walks out of the room. Frank Capra Jr. said a very powerful thing to me. He said, Rudy, I cannot help you. The only person who can get this movie made is you, because we want to put it in other people's hands. You got to take control. And that hit me, and I said, yes, he's right. So as I walked out, you put it in God's hands, and guess what happens? Angels show up. Angels you never thought would show up. People you built relationships with. You know this in business. You all know this. How does business work? Relationships. If you don't have relationships, nothing works. You just can't walk in and say, we're the best. No, you have to build relationships, get them believing in you. And this hotel manager loved my story, and he saw, oh, wow, Rudy, what? That meeting was short. I said, yeah. He said, don't worry about it. He got rid of the goofy thought. My brother's coming to town. You need to talk to him, right? I said, yeah, why not? So I talked to him. I pitched him the movie just like I'm pitching you right now, my speech. You like my speech? You into my speech? Are you excited about my speech? You're not, I can tell, right? But I'm giving this guy the Rudy story. He said, that's a movie. He got excited and passionate, and I got passionate again. Is that cool? And I said, wow. He said, Rudy, that is a movie. I said, I've been out to Hollywood. Notre Dame shut me down. How can it be? Rudy, you got to meet Angelo Pizzo, the writer of Hoosiers. I said, you're kidding. I've been waiting 10 years to meet him, and all I need to know is a hotel manager? to get me there? An ordinary guy? See what I'm saying? Ordinary people get you to where you need to go. They believe in you. Am I right? Now, I go out to California, but before I go out to California, he sets the meeting up, and I meet my boss. And I ask permission. At that moment, can I go out to California and pitch the movie again? Rudy, yes, but don't come back. He fired me on the spot. He burnt my boat. Sometimes you have to do that because you have no other option. So I understood that deal too. I got to get this movie done now because I got, this is life or death. And I go out to California. You think things going to go your way? No. Things don't go your way when you think they should. But if you keep a positive attitude, it will. But a little more patience, a little more commitment, a little more time, because everything's timing. Doesn't happen in your time, happens when God wants it to happen. Am I preaching too much here? If you are, let me know, because I don't want to be a preacher. You look like you're falling asleep, sir. And good, you smile, that's good. So anyhow, it happens when it's supposed to happen, not when you want it to happen, right? Hey, I'm the teacher. I feel the energy. If you're negative, I'm coming at you. If you're false, I'm coming at you. But look like you're alive. See, that's what coaches look. They look at your eyes. Are you ready? Are you ready for this big moment? Or are you going to go, well, it happened to Rudy, won't happen to me. No, it's going to happen to you, whatever you want, if you believe. And I believed. So I go out to meet Angelo Pizzo in Santa Monica, California, meet him at a restaurant it's a little Italian restaurant called Louise's. Just maybe 8 tables in there. You go there, what do you think happens? He doesn't show up. What do you do? And you're with a friend that says, hey man, you got stood up. Why do you think you sold insurance for 6-7 years? To learn about no-shows. To learn what to do with a no-show. Build more relationships, then go back. I said, look, dude, I had to call him that because he was giving me that negative info. You got to get rid of that right away. Just cut it off. For an example, you're talking on the phone with your friend, they're talking politics, religion, say, hey, I got to go. I got to feed the dog. I got to take care of the kids. You don't need to hear the stuff that's going to confuse you. Or you're going to work and listen to the radio and you're fried, Shut it off. Put a good song on. Inspire your thoughts. Right? Keep moving with positive information because things will change. And I politely said to the guy, I have to go find him. And he gives you that, you're nuts. Look, you know how many people are in California, you can go find this guy? I didn't listen to the goofy thought. I went out, well, who do you think shows up? Another angel, a mailman. Happy, just passing his mail out, happy, and he's whistling. I said, wow, that's a sign. That's a wink, God wink, right? And I said, thank you. He said, where are you from, man? No one's ever thanked me. You know where he's from? Michigan. I'm from Indiana. We had a relationship. You know why he's happy? No snow, no sleet, no dogs, right? Happy, he's out in California, and he's just happy. I said, wow, I needed that feeling. He says, where are you from? I said, Indiana. I said, what are you doing out here? Long story. He said, tell me your story. So he told me a little bit why he's happy. He said, well, now what's your story? I kind of told him the 30,000 foot because my story is very complicated. How do you explain my story in 30 seconds? I said, look, I got to meet this guy, this writer who wrote Hoosiers. He had a meeting set up. I think he forgot about it, but I've been waiting 3 hours. He said, I love your story. You're not leaving? Are you sad, honey? You got to go to the bathroom? Good. Did I bore you? If you got to go to the bathroom, raise your hand. Right? Then I feel better. Are you all right? Good. All right. I don't want to embarrass you, but don't leave in front of my speech. Right? Right? Whether you like it or not, you can't leave. It's called respect, right? But I love you. Don't come back. Come back. I had a guy walk out of my in New York, was doing a Broadway show, and the guy walks out of the, when I'm doing my, you're in rhythm, and the guy walks out. So where you going, dude? I'm right in the middle of it. So I got to go to the bathroom. That's a goal. Come back. And he came back, said, thank you for letting me go. So anyhow, you go through those moments because you're into it. You want everybody into this deal, right? You don't want to lose anybody because it's real. It's the goofy thinking that stops us from doing what we need to do. And people show up in your life, they're going to make it different if you have an open mind and positive mind. And that's where the hotel manager helped me. And now the mailman's going to say to you, I know that guy that you're talking about. I deliver his mail. I'm going to take you to his home. But you can't tell anybody how you got here. So I'm going to walk and I'm going to point. Now, is that an angel? So I walk with him thinking, is this real? Am I supposed to do this? Because you little doubt, come on, man, this is talking. He points. You need courage, and you have to be bold if you believe. So I go up to the door and I knock. And I knock. And I hit it harder. And he says, who is it? I said, Rudy. He said, oh my God, how'd you find me? I said, don't worry about it. You're late for lunch. Oh my God, he comes to the door. All the excuses come flowing, right? Here's the excuse. I'm not going to do another sports movie, and I hate Notre Dame. I've been up all night rewriting, and I'm not going to do it, Rudy. I'm sorry, but I love your story, but I got to move on. I understood it, built a relationship for 2 more years. Another God wink, a guy comes from Cornell, goes to Orion Pictures. He was on the staff with Hoosiers, and then he gets a 2-picture deal with a guy who is the president of Columbia Pictures who went to Michigan State. Any Michigan State guys here? Thank God for Michigan State. That guy was the president. He wanted a sports movie and a comic relief movie. He gave this guy $50 million to make 2 movies, but he needed a sports movie. So who do you think he went to because of relationships for sports movies? The guys he worked with Hoosiers. Thank God I was bold and found that mailman, or he would never known the story. So they pitched him to Mr. Price. In 3 minutes, he approved the movie. Is that cool? That's how fast things work in Hollywood. So when that movie was approved, they wrote the script, but I didn't tell them about Notre Dame yet. You don't tell them the bad news yet, right? So we get the approval, they're ready to shoot, but the problem was Mr. Price gets fired. So all the movies that he approved is gone. Mark Catlin doesn't like it, so we just walked the movie over to TriStar, because you can't give up, and those relationships work because he worked with them at Orion on Hoosiers. So all relationships work, guys. So they did the movie. We got Notre Dame on board. I only have 48 hours, but you get it done because everything's timing. Thank God you met the mailman. You never met the mailman if you would have ignored his gratitude. Just like the Navy, the underwear, the gratitude. You probably had enough underwear. I have more underwear than you. I promise you. Any man in this room, underwear, I buy underwear every time I see it. Is that cool? That's how you grow up. You don't forget those moments because you never want to run out, right? So that's my life story. Is that cool? But here's what's really cool. You never, never, never know who that message hits. Just like Justin. But watch this. I want you to meet Kobe Bryant. Listen to him. Listen to Kobe.
Mindset and philosophy, because we tell students that it's very important that you have a personal philosophy. In your basketball career, did you have an articulated competitive philosophy, something short that meant something to you that really stood for what you played?
My philosophy was a very simple one. And this is where I think film plays a big part of my life. Rudy was one of my favorite films growing up, right? And if you guys haven't seen Rudy, I suggest you watch Rudy.
The reason why it's it's Notre Dame. It's Notre Dame, so we don't get crazy about that.
I think the USC football program has done okay over the years. So it's. But after watching that film, I come to understand if I could work that hard every day, with being blessed with the physical tools that I have, what would my career be? And I made a promise to myself from that day that I was going to work that hard every single day so that when I do retire, I have no regrets. And that was the most important thing for me, is to leave no stone unturned, get better every single day. And if I lived that way, then over time, I'd have something that was beautiful. But that was my philosophy. It seems like a pretty simple one, but if you live your life to just get better every single day, and do that for 20 years, what do you have?
We've come so far down this road together. You've got your big plans, I've got mine. I celebrate with you every shining moment. And now I'm asking, are you here for me this time? I'm not gonna cry or compromise. I'm ready to fly. This is my dream, and it's everything I hope that it would be. I will succeed, making the most of this life. Now all I need is for you to know how much it means to me. This is my dream, my dream. When will you say you love what I'm becoming? And when will my song bring tears to your eyes? I know you've seen how hard I've been trying. Did you know I can fly? This is my dream, and it's everything I hope that it would be. I will succeed, making the most of this life. Now all I need is for you to know how much it means to me. This is my dream, to make a brave difference, to change your way of thinking, to move someone to take another chance in life, to stand here before you and share my deepest feeling. You know that I am safe in your heart. This is my dream, and it's everything I hope that it would be. I will succeed, making the most of this life. Now all I need is for you to know how much it means to me. This is my dream, my dream. This is my dream, and it's everything to me. I will succeed, making the most of this life. Now all I need is for you to know how much it means to me. This is my dream, my dream.
That's interesting. Thank you. Well, that's fascinating because my daughter, who ended up at the Boston Conservatory, I asked her, can you write a song for this? And she wrote that song and sung that song. Isn't that cool? So, you still want to keep the kids involved somehow. Do they understand the message? And she totally got it, because she would call Rudy when she was going to the Boston Conservatory. Said, I'm not Rudy. But she still had to go through the struggles and through all the issues you go through in college and all the distance. She lives in Las Vegas. She goes to Boston, and there's snow, rain, sleet, and there's always sun in Vegas, so she had to get used to that. All the things we go through as kids, but we have to be strong enough to encourage our kids and let them, hey, they gotta dream. We gotta dream. If we quit dreaming, we can't get better. So we need to dream and dream bigger and get rid of your goofy thinking, goofy thoughts, and get around the people that empower you, not preach to you. Empower you, like the janitor. You can do it. Don't live in regret. Little things like that. Just like Kobe, when he saw the movie, he got the message. He was 16 years old when he saw that. He would never have been in the NBA if he didn't get that message. Just like Rocky, when I saw Rocky. If it wasn't for Stallone in that movie, I would have never made Rudy. Never met you. Never met Chip. Never met all you guys. Never met Peggy. All you wonderful people that I meet because of what? The boldness of following your feelings and your dreams and going for it, and don't letting people steal your thoughts or dreams, just like Justin. He jumped out of his wheelchair and crawled to that 50-yard line. Don't let people steal your joy. That was so simple and yet so powerful. And now I'm going to end my speech. I'm in South Bend, Indiana. What do you do after you make a movie? What do you do? And you don't know. I didn't know. I get a call from the White House. The President of the United States Secretary wants me to come to the White House and show the movie to the President, because he was at dinner with a young lady who worked on our set, who, when we wrapped the movie, she goes back to Washington, D.C., where she lived and met a guy who was the brother of the First Lady. They get engaged, they go to dinner, and they're at dinner talking about what's going on, where you been. She talks about this movie, Rudy, and the President says, I'm that guy. I'm that underdog. I want to see that movie. He says, can you get Rudy here 2 weeks from Friday, because I'm available. And the young lady said, the movie's not out yet. He says, I'm the President. So they get in the movie there. She calls me. I'll never forget this call. And I got to tell you, when I got the call, she was so excited. But we have our goofy thoughts, right? Even when we're excited, we get them, right? I know we have them now, some of us, right? Because we get a little doubt there. Get rid of that. And she says, Rudy, the President wants to meet you, and they're going to show you a movie. Are you available 2 weeks from Friday? Even if you are, you're not, right? But I get a goofy thought. Do not blurt out your goofy thoughts. My thought was, oh my God, I can't go. My dad hates that President. I can't go to hell. I can't turn to stone. You know, these are the goofy thoughts you're getting, right? And I says to her, because you got to sometimes fake it till you what? Make it. And I faked it by saying, call my secretary tomorrow morning. She'll be here. I had no secretary. But I called my friend, who's a guy who will never ask why. He would say, when do you want her? That's the guy. That's the people you hang. When? When are we going to do it? See, quit hanging around the why people and things get done. So I call him, I need your secretary. I said, what time? That's it. Didn't even ask why. She comes over and makes all the arrangements. I'm going to the White House. Called my mother, though, before that President's secretary called, to make sure my dad understood where I was going. I said, Mom, take Dad upstairs and sing Danny Boy. That's it. That's all she had to do. Because I know he's going to get upset. I know there's a makeup moment when you sing Danny Boy. She has that feeling of, calming him down, making him relax. Bingo. I get to go to the White House. I walk into the White House. First guy I meet is John Glenn. He shakes my hand. He says, meet my boss. That's his wife. Come on over and meet the President. But guess what I got excited about? Yeah, I'm going to meet the President. But more importantly, I'm going to know that fifth President, because they're all hanging up on the wall. I'm counting the number 5, guys. I was so focused on who that fifth president, because if he asked me the fifth president, I'm going to know, right? I am not going to be embarrassed, because no one cares what you know. They want to know how much you care. People, you wouldn't be here if they know. You know what you know. You know what to do. You already know it. I don't have to tell you, preach to you, give you the 10 points of success. You already know them. Come on. All you need to know is the 5th president, and you're fine. So I go to number 5, and I'm going, James Monroe, and I wanted to blurt it out, but you don't blurt it out what you know either. And no one asked me that 5th president. They were so excited to see me watch the movie. You're sitting in the movie, they're watching, and the guy sitting next to me talking during my movie. Now here's where the other goofy thoughts come in. You don't hit the guy. You say nothing, you pray. And when I prayed 10 rosaries, because I had to focus because I'm dyslexic, I didn't hear the noise. When you focus, you don't hear the nonsense, like in a football game. You don't hear the crowd. You're so focused, you go into a zone. And that's what I went into. And when the movie ended, the First Lady stands up. Every kid in America must see this movie. President says, come on, Rudy, let's go to my office. So we go to the Oval Office. We're sitting in there talking. We must have been there 2 hours because the First Lady comes in and says, it's 2:30, Rudy and Angelo, David. President's got to go to bed. She is the boss. Because my dad said, just find out who the boss is in that White House. You know, but you don't need to tell your dad. You tell him what they said. Is that cool? Always take the positive. That's what I did with Angela. I took the positive instead of the negative, and things work out. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm so excited. I want to apologize because I'm from Las Vegas. I got a little dry because of the humidity here. It hits me differently. Texas is different. But man, I'm glad to be here, glad to see you. I'm glad I sat in that tarmac for 2 hours just to see you get excited, and you know the 5th president, and you are so excited about this. You can't wait to tell your kids just keep moving forward and empower your people at work. No more goofy thoughts, period. We're going to make it, guys. God bless you. Rudy Ruettiger. Thank you.